We're going to go on now to a very, very powerful discussion on leading females in tech and AI. Our esteemed panel of experts are going to explore how AI can both empower and impact women and how women can excel in this ever-evolving field. This session is sponsored by Intercity Technology, so I'm very pleased and welcome Sarah Griffiths, Director of PMO at Intercity, who will be chairing the panel with guest speakers Jayne, Technology Adoption and Transformation Expert, Enodi, Audu, Senior Software Engineer at Cirium, and Sonal, Shah, Tech Expert and author of She Chose Tech.
Can everyone hear me? Fantastic. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for coming to join us for this panel discussion on leading females in tech and AI. As Parry said, I'm Sarah Griffiths. I'm Director of PMO at Intercity. We are really proud to be sponsoring today. Fostering diversity and inclusion is something that we're really, really passionate about. And just before we get started, I want to give my team a really big shout out. They're downstairs in the Expo. Please go and say hello to them. We've ran a Women in Tech networking group for the last few years at Intercity, and this year we're branching out and going external, and it would be fantastic if all of you guys in the audience come along and join some of those events with us. So, on to the panel, and I am delighted to be surrounded by an incredible panellist of trailblazers in tech and AI today. They've all got incredible stories and backgrounds and have really changed the tech and AI landscape that we work in. So I'm going to give each of them a chance to give a short introduction to themselves and give you a short background into their journeys with tech and AI. And then we've got some questions and some discussion points that we're really excited to talk to you about. So Sonal, if I can come to you first.
Hello. I'm Sonal Shah, a published best-selling author, professional speaker, and multiple award winner in diversity and technology. My day job is as a vice president within projects in financial services. I'm absolutely passionate about women in tech. I help women in corporates to be more aware about the technology industry and overcome confidence to change careers into the tech industry and become aware of what's available and possible for them, so that they can make a successful transition into the industry, climb the career ladder and become great leaders.
Thank you. Jayne, do you want to go next?
Hi everyone, I'm Jayne Mather. I'm a consultant in technology adoption. So I help organisations bring in new and emerging technology. So I've been there from the days of replacing typewriters and the typing pool to bringing in the internet and big data, to now here we are talking about AI and machine learning. So I try and advocate for people in all that I do, which kind of comes into my second love, which is writing. I'm an author as well, not quite best-selling, but I hope to be inspired by this lady. So my second book is due out shortly. It's available in lots of bookshops, but I'll just say Amazon because of the sponsor today. But the next book is about humans and AI, and it's about how we can get AI to be adopted in a way that people will trust and people will get behind, and so we don't experience that fear of the robots coming to replace us. So that's what the book is about. Lovely to be here, thank you.
And last but not least, Enodi.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Enodi, and I'm a senior software engineer at an aviation analytics company called Cirium. I'm not an author yet, but a little bit about myself. I grew up in a small city in Nigeria, and if you grow up in small cities like that, I remember there was a time in university when someone told me that there was no use for my education. I shouldn't strive for greatness because I would end up in the kitchen. But I did end up in front of the kitchen with a lot of coffee, code, and a lot of software tools as well. I'm honored to be on this panel with these amazing women, and I'm looking forward to at least inspiring one person today. Thank you.
So we have 3 future best-selling authors. That's what I've heard so far. Okay, so first question, and Sonal, I'm going to ask you to take the lead on this one, is how can we inspire more women into careers in tech and AI?
This is what I discuss fully in my book, and as you all know, there's in the UK, the percentage of females in the technology industry currently stands at 29%. Grant Thornton recently gave a research study saying the global representation in technology industry of females in leadership is only 32%. So we've really got our work cut out here. I personally think it's a lot about awareness. I often come across many people, many females not happy in their roles and in their careers that are mid-career. And I don't think people are quite aware of what, the possibilities are. There are so many transferable skills with your experiences that you can take across to the industry. And it is really difficult when you're mid-career to change, but I think it is important to make that point. And also, we also need to be nurturing young talent. We know in schools and colleges there are often many classes, many teachings about technology, and it's not really taken up very highly because the issue, I think, is that you can't be what you can't see. So there are not enough of us role models out there. So it's up to each one of you in the audience today to really pay it forward as well. From corporates, we go out speaking in schools and inspire them to share what's available, what the opportunities are. And when you do want to consider a career change, or especially if your early careers coming into the corporate world, I think we need to nurture that talent. You need to obviously give them a formal mentoring scheme so that they have people to go to. And the education and training is really important. It's such a vast industry. Technology is spanning all across all of our lives today, and it's not going to go away. It's not obviously not just about coding, and coding is a wonderful career for those of you who enjoy it. But there are many things that people can bring to the industry. There's analysis, there's data skills, there's cybersecurity, which is crying out for people. There's projects world where I work at the moment, which brings in your people management and lots of interchangeable skills. You don't have to be a proper techie, to be in the industry. So it is important to also publicise and advocate for your colleagues at work when they're looking for changes, and to network and really do your research to see where your interests are and what can be available and open to you. For a start, being at somewhere like this today at the conference is a great opportunity for networking, to learn from peers and colleagues if you've got an interest and passion and you don't know where to start. Especially as females, I think we don't actually always do ourselves favours. When we're looking for jobs or promotions, we actually look at the job specs and the job descriptions and think 80-90% I fit, so I'm going to apply. We need to start taking a step outside of our comfort zone and just go for it, even if it's only 50%. Have a chat with the recruiter or somebody you can know within the company, maybe, open up your contacts, start networking, to do your own research, and really get out there to try and help ourselves a little bit more, I'd say, because we're missing opportunities, and there is a wealth of knowledge out there that you can tap into. Also, job descriptions. If you are in that area where you can influence, or as leaders ourselves, I think there has been a lot of work done to change the way job descriptions are laid out. It's not so much, it's more for male and females. We need to keep going with that side of things as well to entice more females into the industry, because people just they're not aware of how much they can make impacts and influence within their roles. And it is really possible to change careers mid-career. When I changed years ago, I was told, you're taking a risk. Why are you leaving such a good job? You should be thinking about family, all of these things. There's always people that will doubt you. But if you've got it in you and you really are keen and interested, pursue those goals really, and just go for them with all you can. We also, dare I say it, I need to talk about when we do finally recruit more people into the industry, more women, we need to look at retaining them. I don't always think a lot's done about this. It was said earlier in the opening about women's wellness. It's really great to see more talks on menopause and general well-being and awareness created in the corporate environments. We also need to be mindful with, since COVID, with the hybrid working, there is a large push for, and I appreciate this from the big corporates, they want everybody to be back in the offices, but the element of flexibility the tech industry brings in all their job roles is really there for the taking. We should be speaking up at the tables and actually challenging some things that you can bring there, because you will get the best out of it as females. You've got perhaps families to look after, you may have caring responsibilities. All of these things need to be taken account of, and we need to have a bit of a pragmatic approach. I'm all for hybrid working, and I do understand fully why seniors want everyone back in the office 4 or 5 days a week, but you can really get the best from people if we listen a bit to understand how we can work the flexible working options to everybody's advantage, where everyone's in a win-win position. So there are lots of things to think about. And also, dare I say, in the US, I'm not here to talk about politics today. Donald Trump, I have to mention this about the diversity, equity and inclusion topics. We do think across the pond that people are wondering what the repercussions will be of all of what he's setting out at the moment along the diversity agenda. I have seen a slip a little bit onto the back, a little bit on the back foot from all the wonderful work that's been going on since Black Lives Matter and years ago when, you know, there was a really big emphasis on diversity. We absolutely need diversity of thought in the tech industry. When I'm talking about AI, it's been around for many years, and we are going to touch more on this, but I do feel that when you're creating technology as developers, and you know, there are biases in some of the programs which we do need to be a little bit cautious about and aware about. If we don't have diversity of thought at the table in developing these applications, then we are going to have problems. Historically, the seatbelt was designed, and you know, car crash test dummies were designed with males in mind. And they didn't, until there was some serious accidents, etc., these things weren't considered for females. So, you know, often in big cars, I still find myself holding a seatbelt because it doesn't fit properly and I am tiny. So we've come a long way from that, but those things do need to be in the back of everybody's minds. And without that diversity of thought, without us at the table, these things will continuously be developed in not quite the right way. We've all heard on the news about facial recognition, you know, the AI programs behind that, where the majority of ethnic minorities were always stopped through security or airports. We don't want to repeat all of these things. So you know, it is really important to be at the table and share your challenge and share your opinions for the diversity of thought that's needed in the tech industry and with development of AI.
Thank you. I think really, really good points there. And a lot of the themes that we're hearing about today from the different panels and speakers have been around role models and male allies. And I think they're, you know, some of the points here that are also really prominent. So thank you, Sonal. Next question, Jayne, if I can come to you, please, is what emerging trends in AI and tech present the greatest opportunity for women? And how can we ensure that women are shaping the future of innovation rather than just adapting to it?
Yes, thank you. So when I talk about AI, I try to think of it as a cognitive umbrella term. So a lot of people just think generative AI, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's computers who can do the thinking as well as the doing. It's the agentic AI, so the either programmed or autonomous agents to be able to interact with people or do the routine tasks on computers. It's automation. It's AI-assisted decision-making, it's digital twins, it's also machine learning, so where the AI is continually learning without the prompts, it's teaching itself how to get better. So there's lots of opportunities within those different terms and lots of different use cases. So it's about us using that now as an opportunity. A lot of these products and this technology is not new. If you think about the concept of AI, that goes all the way back to the 1950s. The first chatbot, believe it or not, was in the 1970s. And we seem to think that this is just kind of new and recent. We seem to think technology is moving so fast. But it's like the old saying, it takes a long time to become an overnight success. So there's been a lot of clever people putting in the work in the background. So it's about us now considering how we can use these technology advances to put ourselves at the forefront. So I just challenge us all to be the ones in our organisations to say, well, how can we use automation? How can we use AI? What are the use cases for generative AI? Although a little bit sometimes it's just because you can doesn't mean to say you should. I'm thinking of things like the organisations that are slapping an AI label on everything at the moment. I do not want or need AI in my washing machine. I only use 2 buttons on it as it is, and that's enough for me. But what it gives us is an opportunity now. The products and the technology is not that new, but the hype and the impetus to be able to implement it is new. Everyone kind of wants to be first. Everyone wants to be there. Everyone wants to be able to say, yeah, we're an AI-led company. We have a AI in our product. So that now gives us all an opportunity to say, right, what can we use it for? What can I lead? These are my processes. These are my products. I want to be bringing in this technology, and here's my business case to do that. So in order to do that, women have got to be involved. Women have got to be leading the way as well. So you heard some of the stats that Sonal said about the women in tech. When you look at just AI roles, it's actually a lot less. So around about 25% of people working on or in AI, 25% are women. So we're hugely underrepresented. So the challenge is for all of us to be having the conversations, to be instigating it in our organisations, but as well, and I think this kind of applies not just to AI, we need investment in female entrepreneurs and female-led AI startups. We need leadership development, we need mentorship, and we need male allies. You'll hear that a lot today, hopefully, to be able to be putting people forward. And we need women involved in regulating it, designing it, leading it, and building it. So it's a lot of the generative AI, for example, it's been built and it's been trained on the data that's on the internet. I don't know if you've ever been on the internet, there's already a bit of bias in there. So we need to be training that out, and we need women involved and those diverse perspectives in influencing that. But as well, you know, AI is being, whether we've opted in or not, it's been trained on all of our work, on all of our data. So why shouldn't we reap the rewards, reap the dividends of that technology? So I want to advocate always for women to be involved. But if I go back to my book, Humans and AI, it's about... I've tried to do it cleverly. I've lured the leaders in with promises of profitability and productivity, but I want them to put the book down in thinking, actually, how can we make things better for people? How can we change the world? And I'm a big believer for that. So there's a lot of benefits that organisations can get from introducing AI. When I look to the macro countries, GDP, the productivity boost that we could get, especially when you look at things like the UK, who've suffered not just from austerity, but from Brexit as well. AI could be the key here to really kind of accelerating productivity and economic output in this country. However, it comes with a note of caution. Already at this stage with the technology, 30% of jobs you could get rid of, automate just like that. A lot of jobs. The estimates in the UK alone are 8 million. Jobs could be lost to AI within the next decade. So what I want us all to be involved in is advocating for a global collective intention to use AI for good. My book is called Humans and AI because it is that. We can bring AI into the workplaces without replacing people. It's not humans or AI, it's humans and AI. So then that kind of brings in other trends which we have to have serious conversations with. So I advocate for all the time that we can save through automation, through AI, through machine learning. We give that back to people. We give people the gift of time. And there are options for that. I think the 4-day week has to become an inevitability as more and more tasks and roles are automated and driven by AI technology, who can do things so much faster than all of us. Another way to give people the gift of time back is to spend that and invest in reskilling people so we can keep a pace with technology as it advances and keep our workforces resilient. And the third way to give people the gift of time is to say, right now, the computers are doing all that routine, boring stuff I didn't want to do. I now have some time back and I can re-engine my processes. I can do more product development. I can do more creative and strategic endeavours. I've got more time to put into things. Personally, I hope people go with the 4-day week out of those options, but, you know, I like to give people options. But yes, so it's about using the technology to the best of its potential for organisations and the economy, but we don't want people to lose out. We want people to still have their jobs augmented rather than replaced. So I like to envision we have AI within every job, within every role, within every team, and we've got humans and robots working together to bring the benefits and get that benefit realisation that we need. But job displacement is still a note of caution, and we have to remember, if we want those economic benefits, robots don't pay tax, robots don't spend money in our businesses, robots don't have motivation and ambition and drive. Those are things that people do. We've got to keep people in the workforce still to be able to drive the benefits that we need. So for me, it's about women not only having that seat at the table, women leading the agenda and leading those projects and instigating for the technology to be used in all of the use cases, in every industry, in every organisation. But it's about us having that collective intention, whether you're a techie or not. You are going to be affected by AI, and AI has been trained on what you have done in the past. AI is all of us, so all of us need to be involved in that conversation to what we want that future of work to be. So I know what I want it to be. I want us to use AI, that collective global intention, use AI for good, redesign work and reshape the world to be a better place where we all have that gift of time.
Fantastic. And I think, to your point, to use AI to the best of its ability, we need to be challenging the status quo, don't we? And how do we do that in the best way without having that diversity and inclusion at the table to bring all those different thoughts and ideas?
Yes, so DEI, when it go back to America, I hate it when they kind of say go woke, go broke and all that type of thing. It never has been to me about a box ticking exercise. Yes, it brings equality and equity, but actually it also brings better products, better services, better outcomes, because that's what diverse perspectives create for me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jayne. So Enodi, over to you then, please. And the question that we have for you is, how can mentorship and sponsorship programmes be designed to effectively support women in tech and AI? And also, if you have any examples of when those kinds of initiatives have worked, if you could give us some of those as well, please.
Thanks, Sarah. I think mentorship and sponsorship is a topic that is really close to my heart. And so I would like to start with an illustration. Imagine you are a junior software engineer and it's your first day at work. You're in a meeting with other experienced software engineers and they are talking about terms, or they're using terms like APIs, pull requests, containers, microservices. I'm so sorry for using words like that. And then you're nodding your head, right? And pretending that you understand what you're saying. But deep down inside you actually do not understand what you're saying. And you're gradually feeling like you don't belong, right? That is where imposter syndrome starts creeping in. So a month passes by. There are days that you're excited about your work and you feel like you belong at work. But there are also days where you feel like this is not it. You want to quit. You feel like a fraud. So you get the boldness to kind of talk to your manager about it, and your manager says, oh, you know what, we have a mentorship program at the company, why don't you sign up for it? You sign up for the mentorship program and you get paired with a mentor. And after a while, you start feeling good as well. You're beginning to ask the important questions, your confidence is growing back. But did you notice that you couldn't hear me? That's because no one is amplifying my voice. And that's the difference between mentorship and sponsorship. So mentorship, it's about guidance, while sponsorship is about advocacy. A mentor helps someone to kind of, or guide someone through challenges, while a sponsor speaks of a person's name in doors that are in closed doors, right? It's the mentor, the sponsor, what the sponsor does is basically when you have an idea, even behind closed doors, the sponsor brings that idea to without you being in that presence. So I think that is where the gap lies for most women in tech, right? Most times women in tech have a lot of mentors, but we don't have a lot of sponsors and we don't have a lot of male allies. And I think someone spoke about it during the other panel session. So what am I trying to say? I think there should be a lot of conversations about sponsorship because if we don't have people speaking for us, we wouldn't have people. So we need to have people speaking for us in places like during fundraising events, or even during performance reviews, or even during leadership discussions. And that is where I feel like even not really males, even women need to speak up for each other. And we see that even men do it regularly for themselves. And I think it's something that, as women, we need to begin to imbibe it into our daily culture, into our daily life, into the work culture as well. So examples of mentorship programs that I would recommend is this one about the Google Tech Makers program. There's Women in Technology program, and there's also the Empower program. I really love those programs because they kind of mentor you to become a better person. But one thing I would really love to see in those programs is sponsorship being included in some of their structures, because we have left out sponsorship. We only talk about mentorship, and sponsorship also is kind of included into male allyship, and this is what we should always include in every day of our work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being so open with that about something that's so important. I think we've got time, so I'm just going to come to each of you again and ask you very briefly if you had one piece of advice for anybody in our audience today, something that you really want them to take away from this panel, what would that be? Sonal, being as you have the mic, I'm going to let you go first.
I think it's sort of been touched upon before, but I think as females we have enough challenges as it is. We need to stand together and get that girl power going, because if we're not challenging in those rooms, we're not managing upwards, we're not being leaders in our day-to-day, then these stats and figures that I quoted when I started are never going to change. We've got a lot of work to do, and it is good and important to work together. We can't always just point the finger at male allies. We have to be advocates ourselves for everybody and each other.
Thank you. And Enodi, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I think one piece of advice I would give is we need to open doors for women. We should pull up chair and make space at the table for everyone, because it's not just about hiring women. It's not just about hiring more women. It's about speaking up for them. It's about advocating for them. Yeah.
Thank you. And last but not least, Jayne?
I'm really into things like positive affirmations. So one of my mantras that I really like at the moment is, why not me? So if I look to my right at, you know, female leadership and, you know, females developing the tech and selling authors, I look at that and I think, well, other people are a success, other people are getting in the room, other people are getting a seat at the table, why not me? And that helps to give me the confidence to keep putting myself forward for things like this.
And that's why you're going to be a best-selling author in no time.
Yes. She said it will come true. I'm manifesting that now.
Thank you, guys. So as we close the discussion on leading females in tech and AI, I want to say a massive heartfelt thanks to these guys here on my panel. Your stories are inspirational. You're all so successful, and I'm really proud and privileged to be sat here with you today. So thank you very much. I want to thank everybody in the audience for coming and listening to us. I hope you've taken away some really great ideas to take back into your workplace, into your community or your home life about how you can support women and empower women in this field. I actually want to give a shout out to Cassim and Ed. I don't know if they're still in here, but talk about allies, and those guys are here arranging events just like today to support us all and kind of push this for everybody. So huge shout out to those guys. I've already given them a shout out, but Intercity, I'm so proud to work there, so proud to be sponsoring today. Please get yourself down into the Expo and sign up for our events. And it's brilliant. I know a lot of my colleagues are in the audience and they're all here to support us and support these kinds of initiatives. So thank you. I think today's discussions highlighted some really key points here around sponsorship, challenging the status quo and allyship. And I just want to close with a thought. There's a quote, we've already had a Barack Obama quote today. I have a different one, thankfully, otherwise I'd be repeating Cassim. But Barack Obama once said, the fact that you're graduating, let alone that more women than men now graduate, is possible because of earlier generations of women, your mothers, your grandmothers, your aunties, and they shattered that myth so that you can and should be here where you are today. And I just want to close by saying, on the topic of allies, imagine if those mothers, grandmothers and aunties were now your fathers, your grandfathers and your uncles as well, because this is a broader initiative than just women. And so I want to thank you all for being here today. I really hope you enjoyed the discussion. Have a wonderful rest of your conference and a very happy International Women's Day.